3 game series here as we go into the draft of game number 1 between Cignal Ultra and SxC IMBA. Now, the bans are pretty standard. The picks, though, are pretty staggered here. Tets and Few picking up that Lemerd, and Akai might go for a Kagura. There you go. And on the flip side, SxC going for that Alice and that Cho.
Your team is picking.
Yeah, let's see what SxC decides to respond here with. Of course, we've seen Lemerd and the Panda throughout the day. You know, a lot of fighting, a lot of team fighting.
Yeah, a lot.
Away from these picks. And so far on SxC's side, you know, they have that playmaking potential. Speaking of playmaking potential.
Yeah, Kasha being picked up might benefit SxC IMBA here, but this is looking like the same problem that Execration were up against Finesse, where their primary playmakers were Kaja and Cho, wherein it's just going to be almost single targeted there. On the flip side, it's a bit of a different story here. With just Akai being the single playmaker here for Cignal Ultra, it's going to land the burden of making the plays happen is going to be huge there on that Akai. Kagura, Angela's going to be able to sustain everybody without a shadow of a doubt. So it's just going to go to Kagura and Lemerd, and Thamos dealing a lot of damage. SxC IMBA can go for another playmaker here.
You know, looking at the side of Cignal Ultra, it seems like they are very confident with their Akai's ability to make these plays happen, considering that they only have him as that option to like full-on start these fights and just be the primary playmaker, like you mentioned, where the other 4 are more focused towards the damage. So they seem to be very confident in their Akai players' intense ability to make those plays happen. As for the side of SxC Imbalance, you see a lot of diversity with their composition.
Yeah, there is a lot of diversity there. Now, with picking up a carry as the last pick, it's already dictating the tempo for SxC IMBA. They want to go into the late game so that carry would fully go online and just dish out damage. As soon as we reach the 10-minute mark, that's where carry is going to shine without a shadow of a doubt. Now, Cignal Ultra, they need to deny that. They need to take advantage of the fact that they have the early game, they have the mid game, and just dictate the tempo from there and make it a lot hard for SxC IMBA to go to the late game.
Yeah, you know, speaking of the late game, we've seen a lot of our games actually go into the later stages throughout the day. We've seen a lot of teams where they draft compositionally tends to favor the earlier stages, but yes, they will secure these advantages, but a lot of the teams have actually done a great job of playing really slow, turtling it out, really stalling these games and waiting for their power spikes, waiting for the scaling to kick in.
Yeah, and it's all about the power spikes here, because as soon as you hit your level 4 power spike, you need to take advantage of the fact that, hey, you can finally go for engagements, all your ultimates are going to be up. That's when everyone is supposed to shine. And with SxC IMBA picking up that carry and focusing more on the late game, their early game spike, their level 4 spike, I mean, is still going to be there without a shadow of a doubt, but it's going to be a lot harder, so to speak. But yeah, we're going to go into game number 1 here between Cignal Ultra and SxC Imbalance.
Yeah, let's see. Level 1, pretty normal, not that many fights going to be happening. Just a bit of harassment being traded back and forth. Like you mentioned, these players tend to wait for that level 4. Once they have access to their ultimates, then we get to see all the action.
Yeah, but it's still not it's not foreign to see fights breaking out in the early stages of the game. But of course, with these teams knowing how well things can turn volatile, they're just gonna be playing it safe and just try to get as much farm as they can. Yako trying to steal that jungle camp from SxC IMBA so that he can get that bit more of gold, that bit more of XP.
Not gonna be successful though with that steal. Just gonna, you know, he had free time. Try to go for the steal. Still gonna pick up the minion waveform or gold. Let's see now. SxC IMBA are fairly grouped up here. You know, trying to get these clears faster and actually trying to find a pick-off. You know, if somebody from Cignal Ultra accidentally walks into the 3-man squad, you know, the buddy system.
Yeah, the 3-man squad here would be detrimental, whoever faces them, but, you know, it's still everybody playing it safe. But over at the bottom side of things, there seems to be a setup here over the bottom lane near the turtle. Bonchon's going to be forced to flicker out there to survive, so that's one resource
Turtle
out of the
resurrecting
equation.
soon.
5 seconds before the turtle spawns, and this is going to be the next objective that both of these teams need, that gold and XP boost.
Yeah, and the key thing here is who is level 4 and who is not, who has access to their ultimates ready. Cignal Ultra does have priority over this objective. SxC IMBA wants the challenge. Here we go.
And Haji is deleted from existence there just that quick. And Cignal Ultra is applying the pressure over the middle lane, trying to get more kills, but will not be able to convert it any longer. But at least that's a man down for SxC IMBA, plus a turtle secured by Cignal Ultra. That's more than enough to ask for in that engagement.
Yeah, the turtle will be the reward there for Cignal Ultra. Not that many chip damage onto the towers just yet. You have free time on this one though, so they will get damage down onto this. Now, SxC IMBA want to challenge this. They want to go for something, but
look at the dive. That dive by Akai. The Hurricane Dance is going to connect onto Dexter, and just look at the first blood there. Man.
Almost looked too easy for Cignal Ultra. You know, we did mention the singular playmaker, and we see what happens there with the Akai. Now they're gonna go for more.
There's Bonchon getting pinned by the Hurricane Dance as well. They're making it work. They're really taking advantage of the early and mid-game spike that they have. And SxC IMBA has no answer to this whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't think the single playmaker is an issue so far on the side of Cignal Ultra. Now Yako gonna go for the all-in here.
Yeah, the all-in is actually going to be worth it. Will that dive be worth it, though? That turret aggro is a bit too much, and he gets taken out as well.
Yeah, very close 1-for-1 there. You kind of think that he may have been able to get out if he didn't reach the tower, but still an all-in there, showing his aggression, showing his dominance.
Yeah, Cignal Ultra really has the command of this game. I mean, considering the fact that they were formerly Digital Devils Pro Gaming during Season 1, they will have, you know, the upper hand in terms of game knowledge here against SxC IMBA, which is relatively a new team, so to speak.
Yeah, and that game knowledge seems to be paying off. Like you
Turtle
mentioned, they
resurrecting
already
soon.
have around a 2 to 3k gold lead here on their side. Will be
destroyed a
even
turret.
out.
Oh man, Archie getting pinned, no way to escape, and that turret is gonna fall down as well.
Yeah, the tower just seems like a formality after he went down there, and another tower going over to Cignal Ultra. Where's the defense from SxC IMBA?
Yeah, SxC IMBA is just spread way too thin here. They're losing their members left and right, which is something that they really don't want. And Archie falling down as well is gonna have a huge impact to her late game spike. She won't be able to go online as soon as she wants to.
Yeah, you know, Cignal Ultra, they're picking up a lot of objectives on the map here, Nomad. I don't think we've seen a team actually dominate this early. You know, 5 minutes into the game, already 3 towers, 2 turtles as well. As you see a pull-in.
There's the Divine Judgment onto Yako, but Yako's going to be able to fight back here onto Bonchon, dishing out a lot of damage there. And we do see a rotation here coming in from Cignal Ultra from over the top lane, but Yako will barely make it out alive. And here comes the rest of Cignal Ultra. Few will be able to secure that kill onto Haji, and the pressure is still on here over in the middle lane. Cignal Ultra doing really a good job here, just going for the counter initiates.
Yako's a madman. He jumps back into 4 members with barely any HP left. It actually gets out alive. He's even going to secure a tower for himself within the same minute. Wow. Cignal Ultra just styling on SxC IMBA.
Styling and swagging all over SxC IMBA. I mean, Cignal Ultra is one of the top 2 teams here for a reason, and we are seeing their complete dominance in this game. 5 minutes into the game, 6,000 gold lead, 6 minutes into the game. Man.
We are going to see a fight.
And this fight is going to be detrimental for SxC IMBA if they lose another member here. The Divine Judgment is going to catch Tets, though. So they are over committing their Cignal Ultra. They need to fall back, and SxC IMBA, but at least they were able to get rid of Tets. But the pressure is still being applied here over in the middle lane. This, I think, is one of the fastest games we've casted throughout the entire day.
Yeah, that was a bit over-optimistic, though, from Tets. You know, they just burned resources trying to take down that tower. He immediately goes for the engage. His team not on the same page. He pays for that mistake with his life, but still, Cignal Ultra took down multiple towers just during that sequence. Now, 7 minutes on the clock. This map very wide open for Cignal Ultra to do anything they want.
Really, I mean, in the span of 2 minutes, clearing out entire two tiers of turret here for themselves is more than enough to secure the victory here. But you know, SxC IMBA can still bounce back from this. Like what we said earlier in the draft, they need to go for the late game spike that they badly need. And just with the pressure that Cignal Ultra is applying, I don't think SxC IMBA would be able to reach their late game spike.
Yeah, and you know, Nomad, I'm really liking what we're seeing from Cignal Ultra. We mentioned a lot of teams, they draft towards the early game, but we never really saw them execute towards these early game drafts.
Oh, hold that thought though. I'm sorry, but this is going to be a huge pull by Kaja, but Yako does not allow them to secure that.
A big engage there, but SxC IMBA going to be able to disengage. Cignal Ultra actually starting an objective here. They're going for the lore, I think. 2-man here. They have enough resources to go for this. They are just that far ahead. Now they're gonna commit more members. SxC IMBA not in the area to retaliate to this attempt. Cignal Ultra is gonna take it for free. Another objective going over to their side.
Man, this is slowly looking like a one-sided game. I mean, 8 minutes, 6-2 score line, 6 turrets down, and almost 10,000, more than 10,000 gold lead here for Cignal Ultra.
Well, I wouldn't say it's slowly looking like a one-sided game. It very quickly became a one-sided game, and you have to credit Cignal Ultra as he was just gonna get his horse because well, he can. Didn't really need to go for that engage, but now he has his steed.
A pause is going to be called here. I think they're going to have a look at their phones again real quick. But yeah, that was... I think it's safe to say that this game is pretty much wrapped up. It's all about the core being broken there for formalities. What do you think?
You know, the last time you called the game being wrapped up, the team that was behind actually came back. But
yeah,
this is a different game. You know, and I feel like with the way that Cignal Ultra have been playing, yeah, it does look like this will head into game 2.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. The Lord will be chipping out the HP there of that turret down before he gets taken out. Still a lot of HP down for the tier 3 turrets, and still a lot of pressure being applied by Cignal Ultra.
Now look at the spread here by Cignal Ultra.
Their way. There goes the Divine Judgment, but does not convert into anything. This turret is going to go down, no, without a shadow of a doubt. Tet's still alive, 1 HP and a dream for him. And they're still going in for the offensive here. They're taking the middle turret as well. Archie dropping incredibly low on HP. Just look at the damage being dealt there by this entire Cignal Ultra lineup. And look at that connection onto SxC IMBA. The game 1 goes to Cignal Ultra.
Yeah, it looked way too easy for Cignal Ultra. Not much of a challenge being posed there by SxC Imbalance. You called it right, Nomad. It was looking like it was wrapped up, and very much so. Under 10 minutes, the game ends for Cignal Ultra.
I think that's the fastest game that we had for the day, and
that's saying a lot.
That is saying a lot. I mean, all of our games went into the late game, aside from this one, and I think they're pretty much setting up the tempo for the next game here. But looking at the scoreboard real quick, Few is going to be the MVP, 4-0-2. That's a 60% kill participation for Few as well on that Lemard. It's really dishing out a lot of damage. But what are your thoughts on that matchup?
You know, we were talking about how there was a lack of playmakers on the side of Cignal Ultra. You know, they had just had a singular playmaker, just Tets on that Akai, but they seem to work it out really well. You know, they used his cooldowns properly whenever he had the Hurricane available. They were able to go for those dives, and it just feels like SxC IMBA weren't able to respond in any way. You know, they had their tools, but just weren't able to